live. And click. What's going on, everybody? Friday, March 29th. Welcome to the MLB DFS strategy show. Remixing the NBA for today. We'll hit the NBA in the early afternoon, but MLB is the new star, or the belle of the ball, I guess we should say. MLB strategy is the promo code. Right, we're mixing it up all crazy. Same process as normal, 50% off your first month with us. So if you want to check us out, now's the time to do it. MLB strategy is the promo. Adam, you excited for MLB being back?
Really excited for MLB being back.
Yeah.
Especially now that I feel like I'm kind of caught up on my process. Like I don't know how you are, but I always put off whenever a new sport starts. I put off getting ready for it, and then I kind of forget like 5 things that I learned from the year before, and kind of slowly comes back to me. But I think I'm pretty much caught up now.
Yeah, speaking of that, and it's a good thing you said it, we should probably write down everything for the NBA in the next week or two as some sort of document.
Yeah, Siege, who I'm good friends with, I think is a moron in most aspects of his life, but he does actually have a document, I know, of his process for every sport, so that he doesn't have to figure it out on the fly every season.
Yeah, that's really smart. That is really smart. I remember, so it was probably, what's today? Friday. So it was probably either Tuesday night or Wednesday night. Whatever night I got all the projections ready, and I was messaging you saying I'm about to run this first crunch. And I pulled it open and I was just like, man, I don't remember any of the normal shit I used last year. Every setting in Fantasy Cruncher was just this. All right, well, I'll crunch it, see what comes out, and see if that looks like what I remember it looking like in August.
Right.
And that's when I realized that I should take my own advice and go play around and rewind for an hour or two.
Yep, I did that from about midnight until about 2 or 2:30 this morning. So that was a good time.
Yeah, you have to. I spent a lot of time in it. I recrunched yesterday's slate even during it to, check everything out. But it was really hard for me. I already had the best lineup on FanDuel across the board, so can't go to rewind and do much better than that one.
There you go. So you won FanDuel yesterday?
I won the quarter.
Oh, nice.
FanDuel. Yeah.
Last I talked to you, Reese Hoskins knocked you out.
Yeah, I dropped down to 3rd or 4th. I think Bobby Marks took first at that point in time, but I won going away.
Okay, nice.
Which is kind of depressing. It would have also won 100K going away.
Right, yeah.
So that was a little sad for me.
Yeah, I mean, I lost money on baseball yesterday, but once I got into rewind, I got 4th, so I feel like I should get money for that, but I don't.
Yeah, I mentioned in Slack before, normally on opening day, I'll play whatever the star tournament is for that day, since they're usually bigger and a little bit more advantageous. But with the amount of content we had to do yesterday, I was like, I can't do this. So I just need I need my own talking points, but I can't play any sort of volume or I'm going to die.
Right.
And that decision,
I tried and I died.
Yeah, that decision ultimately cost me $100,000.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
I think it would have won the 100K by
8 Alex and Tom,
8 points or something like that. It wasn't even remotely close.
Yeah, that's gross.
So, and shout out to T McBee. He finished 2nd in that tournament, so you're welcome, man. Because otherwise you would have lost $15,000 and finished 3rd.
Did I see him with a 25K screenshot?
Yes.
That wasn't that tournament, right?
Yes.
Wait, so that tournament was 50K to first or something?
100.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you were saying that he got 3rd in the quarter tournament. I was like, how big?
No.
And
how much in the 100K, T McBee popped either 2nd or 3rd for, I think, 30 maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I saw that screenshot.
Yeah.
But I thought you were saying that he finished right behind you, and then I was trying to figure out how much money you made on a quarter.
So he was also in that quarter tournament, and for a long stretch of it, it was me, Bobby Marks, and T McBee, just rotating through.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to T McBee. Great start for the Awesemo.com crew. We saw a lot of bunched up top 10 logos yesterday for baseball. It's always good to see on the first day. Oh, what do we got? Ah, damn. I'm going to have to set up some sort of counting formula. I think we have 8 games.
Yeah, it's 8.
Let me figure this out. I'm going to need to set this up now. Otherwise, I'm going to guess every day, and it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Didn't stop you during NBA season.
That's a great point. Well, that's not the way to do that formula, because the answer is certainly not 15. Count if X's, I guess. This is thrilling for everybody. Are you planning to play NBA through the playoffs?
Through the playoffs, probably not. Through the end of the season, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what to do now.
It depends though on tournaments and stuff. Normally,
obviously a garbage MLB slate with like a 2-game main and then 8 for the night next week is different. But
yeah, I mean, normally I don't like small slate, anything. I think I've gotten better at them this year, so maybe I'll play more playoff NBA, but normally I don't.
We're about to get started here, and I have the Blue Jays and Tigers game up. And this is going to be good. We get a message from Daniel Hargaden in the YouTube chat that says, Kendry, this is on Oakland. Josh, stick to basketball. And I have Kendry Morales in the 5-hole for the Blue Jays right now. I know he got traded the day before opening day. That is not my fault. That is the fault of another DFS provider putting Kendry Morales in the 5-hole of their lineup. No, I didn't sense check this. It's 9:30 in the morning. I don't need to be right now. I just need to be right at 6:59.
I just found out Kendry Morales was traded to Oakland.
Really?
Yeah, I had no. I knew he wasn't in the Jays lineup yesterday. I assumed he was just like hurt already or something.
No, he got traded Wednesday night.
Yep, totally missed that.
Yeah. Now I'm aware of that. But one of our competitors doesn't appear to be. So
I don't even know which one because the one I'm looking at has it.
Well, I can tell you this much: they didn't have it at 7:00 this morning.
Okay.
If they have it now, kudos to them.
Actually, yeah. Now that I think about it, they didn't have it yesterday. That's why I didn't know he was traded.
Yeah, it's an easy fix. Blue Jays. Click. Okay, and now the lineup is correct. Ready to talk some baseball, man?
Yeah.
I haven't said it yet. We are also brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy is a DFS provider that is based on player props. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. We haven't messed with the baseball ones yet. I have them on the screen right now. These are... I'm going to have to build out my chart again for this one. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little behind, so we will be talking about it. But like, how do you feel about Nick Castellanos getting over or under a half of a hit for 90 points for the over?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take the over, I think.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot less wiggle room on some of these, but we'll learn soon enough. This is going to be really fun. DDS 2190. Josh, how did that 0 Embiid go last night? You guys realize the exposures that I have at 9 o'clock in the morning aren't the same ones that I have when I go into the final slate, right? I was on Live Before Lock last night. You could have seen that I played 37% of him on FanDuel. So I don't just stick to whatever happens at 9 o'clock in the morning. That would be crazy silly.
Wait, what? So, like, you have your exposures up for today, and people in chat think they're last night's?
No, it was just, yesterday when I did the show with Laffy, I wasn't really getting to a lot of Embiid in the morning.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And that's apparently just the way that facts work for the next 12 hours after that. Yeah. I love this. I love this so much. Let's do this. Let's talk baseball. First game up, Blue Jays and Tigers. The Kendry Morales-less Blue Jays taking on the Detroit Tigers. 4.5 run implied total for the Jays, 4 for the Tigers. It's a 56% chance to win for Toronto. Matt Shoemaker going for Toronto. Matt Boyd, Battle of the Mats, going for Detroit. I assume that you're going to be a lot more focused on DK.
Yes.
Okay. I will be a lot more focused on FanDuel. So at least for, the next couple days.
I have not even built out a FanDuel sheet yet.
Perfect. So you will be the go-to guy for the potential of SP2s where I will say that there's no way in hell I'm playing someone like Matt Shoemaker. So as of right now, I don't anticipate having either of these pitchers on FanDuel outside of, 1 or 2 random lineups. But talk to me about Shoemaker or Boyd as SP2s on DK.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to see what happens with Shoemaker because he was someone that I liked a lot when he was with the Angels, but I thought he benefited like a ton from that park. For one, he kind of had the Jared Weaver thing going, I think, where it was just really difficult for hitters to pick up his release point because of the background in LA. And then obviously it's a favorable pitcher's park for a guy like Shoemaker who does have home run issues. So now going to Toronto where it's a much more favorable hitter's park than LA, and he doesn't have like he can't cheat with the backdrop or anything like that. I'm really interested to see how it goes. I don't think it goes well, but his first start is against a really bad Detroit team. So it'll be interesting to see which side wins out. In my initial crunch on DraftKings, I think I got like 14 or 15% Shoemaker, but Detroit was also like my highest owned stack. So it's a spot where I expect to take, hitters or to be on both sides. If I had to choose one pitcher in this game, though, I would pretty easily go to Matt Boyd instead of Shoemaker.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I've Boyd projected a little bit higher ceiling of getting to the target that we're looking for, but on FanDuel, these guys are not really in play to me. There's high-end pitching talent that I just don't need.
So I'm looking at Shoemaker's splits from last year, and his home run number is actually like flipped. He allowed 1.4 home runs per 9 at home compared to half on the road, but his strikeout percentage continued to just be completely insane. 34% at home, 19.5% on the road last season for Shoemaker. Oh, that's right. He pitched 30 innings last year, so I take that back. That's why the home runs are weird. I was just like how I forgot that. Yeah, I was just like, that's really bad. And how did I not remember that happening? But it's because he pitched 30 innings. So 2017, he just gave up a shit ton of home runs everywhere. He actually was pretty even in strikeout percentage too. It must have been 2016 that he had. There was one year where he had just like monster splits. So the point here is that the splits may not mean anything, but I definitely don't think going from LA to Toronto helps him.
I would not expect it to help him much either. So you mentioned being on probably both sides here. I greatly prefer the Blue Jays bats. That was probably not the best case of shit yesterday, but I'm going right back to them. Randall Grichuk in particular is the guy that stands out most to me of anyone on the Jays. Do you expect to be stacking up either of these teams, or do you see this more for one-off bats?
Definitely stacking up Detroit on DraftKings. Their price tags are just really, really appealing. You do have, even though it's not a good team, you do have some power in there with Kristen Stewart. You have Nico Goodrum, Castellanos. Obviously, it's 1 through 6. It's not terrible, especially because you can cover the second base position with Josh Harrison. So it's not bad, but you just have cheap prices on these guys, and it allows you to get a couple of expensive pitchers, get some upside from the Tigers, and then still fill in some nice one-offs. So I'm definitely stacking the Tigers. I don't have an issue with Toronto either, but I think I'll be a little bit more on like one-offs there just because of the type of pitcher that Boyd is. He improved some last year. His strikeouts went up. But we still have, power from Toronto with guys like Grichuk and Hernandez. So more interested in one-offs there, I think.
Okay. You pull up my my fantasy crunch from this morning. Team stacks. Special thanks to Fantasy Cruncher for finally adding this last year. Yeah, Toronto, one of my top 3 stacks with the Angels and with the Cardinals. Detroit coming in 4th, so I'm going to be on this game quite a bit, and that doesn't shock me all that much. Blue Jays running super righty heavy 1 through 6. That is appealing to me. Tigers, I feel like I got the Tigers so much last year. They just always had depressed prices, mostly because they were garbage. So they were always the second stack that went with the high-priced hitters and another stud pitcher. So I was always just like, oh, what?
Yep, that's how it is today.
Yeah, and yeah, it's happening again. So I'm on this game. The implied totals aren't bad. There are some teams like the Marlins, Rays, Diamondbacks, Giants, who I likely will not have much of at all. So naturally, I got to find a spend down option that actually has a decent implied total, and a matchup against Matt Shoemaker is not going to be that scary for me.
Yep. And keep in mind that this time of the year, teams hitting in domes are actually normally in better conditions than teams hitting outside. So it's like we're not at the point of the year yet where you have stadiums where it's 100 degrees and humid and the ball's going to fly.
Yeah, there's no 1:15 at the start of a Rangers game today or something stupid.
Right. Yeah, and then with some pretty good pitchers still going, like a 4.5 and a 4 implied run total are actually pretty high.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the highest that we have today is the Blue Jays at 4.5, whereas, when we get into June, I mean, those numbers become 5.7, 5.8, 5.9 sometimes, depending on the day.
Yeah. So I ran an initial crunch last night on a different computer, so I don't have it on this one. I'm trying to run one now, but I'm afraid it's going to crash me. But I think
did it save it for you? Can you load it?
I didn't save it.
It might still be there if you go to restore crunches. They kind of save without you knowing it now.
Damn, I did not know that. That's awesome.
That's what I'm here for, man. Real quality knowledge. You learn something if you listen. Yeah. I don't know when that changed, but now they just kind of save them on the sly, which makes me wonder why I manually save them from time to time, but yeah, it works out.
Great. All right.
Is it loading for you?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'll have it in a second.
Oh yeah, I figured you click on load lineup and then 5 minutes later your computer gets around to it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, just making sure. Do you have anything else on Jays Tigers?
Justin Smoke had a 130 ISO right-handed last year. I don't put a lot of stock into that, but it's pretty damn bad.
Yeah, he doesn't grade out all that well for me. He's just part of the group. Grichuk is the guy that's really I'm getting way too much of, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'll be able to tell you in 10 minutes how much I have of Grichuk.
Perfect. I could tell you now how much I do. I mean, I'm sure he's my second most exposed outfielder, 38%. I also have 65% Trout right now, so we'll see where that ends up. Don't really need 65% of any one hitter in baseball.
No, I think I have Trout capped at 20 or at 30%. And he's my highest.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously no caps to start the morning or anything like that. Still looking around at everything. I mean, no caps in general, but that's neither here nor there.
Wait, you don't cap your baseball players?
I've stopped capping my NBA players too, but
really,
I haven't needed to. It's coming out the way that I have my settings set up. It's really hard for me to get to anything a lot, and then once I dump it back into Excel and sort it back up, the cream sort of rises to the top. Yeah. I'm doing more often than not now. I'm basically trying to use Fantasy Cruncher as nothing more than a means of lineup generation.
Right.
So I don't I'll just take I have enough randomness in now where no one could even possibly get to 100 or something really crazy. So I'm just trying to crunch out as many lineups as I can and dealing with the sifting process outside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could click it and make 1,000 right out of the gate and it was super fast, I'd be doing that.
Yeah.
Baseball is not that quick. Which I totally forgot about when I first loaded up Fantasy Cruncher, that the speed of a Fantasy Cruncher crunch on baseball, and this is not an indictment on Fantasy Cruncher, it's it's a more complex calculation. The speed on MLB compared to NBA is staggering. We had a bunch of people asking, is Fantasy Cruncher really slow for you guys? It's just no, that's just baseball.
Yeah. So it looks like in my last stack, my last crunch last night, Detroit was my highest owned stack. Toronto was tied for 5th with a bunch of other teams.
Okay. Yeah, I had a ton of Blue Jays, and I'm going right back to it.
And Grichuk, I was getting around 13%.
Okay.
Which, with the way that I make my lineups, is relatively high.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just so everybody, I will never have 65% Mike Trout. I mean, not on a 8-game slate. If this is a 2-gamer or something, that can happen, but it's going to be really difficult for me to want that to happen. All right, let's move on. Oh, God. Some of these teams, we're not even out of March yet, and it's oh, cool. I got to talk about this team 161 more times, and they're terrible. It's just guys when I see Curtis Granderson's name, it's how are you still in the league? And then I look at his weighted runs created plus, and it's he's just a league average hitter too. He's not even garbage.
That'll change now that he's in Miami.
Yeah.
Not through no fault of his own.
No. Marlins 3.1 run implied total. Rockies 3.9. A 59% chance to win for Colorado. We've got Trevor Richards on the hill for Miami. Is it weird? Is it hard for you to call them Miami, or is it just natural now?
Natural now.
Okay.
It took a while.
Yeah. I do I'll call the Rays the Devil Rays a few times, just out of habit.
Yeah.
For the Rockies, Herman Marquez, who was quite a shining star for this Awesemo channel, both pre-merger with Jake being a huge fan, and then post-merger when I finally got on board with everyone else. How you feeling about Marquez today?
He is currently my highest owned pitcher on DraftKings. 9,200, huge park upgrade going to Miami. Really bad Miami team. The projected lineup has Lewis Brinson and Jorge Alfaro hitting back to back. That's like, for every time through the order, that's like 6 strikeouts from 2 guys. That's how often those 2 guys strike out. So it's just obviously really good matchup, really good park, really good pitcher. Yeah, tons of Marquez.
Yeah, I love the dude. Especially getting outside of Colorado. Not that it matters. He's probably better in Colorado in that more people will likely avoid him because of just simply the location of the game.
Right. Better for tournaments, not better at pitching.
Correct. See how much I got. 12%. Got a lot more Robbie Ray, Garrett Cole.
Is that because of how good Robbie Ray is against the Dodgers?
That's great, man. That's such a perfect timing. It's absolutely perfect timing. I love this dude, though. There is no limit to the amount of Marquez that I would have a problem with.
You just said you have 12% and then said you love him.
I mean, I love him personally.
Oh, okay.
My third most exposed pitcher. I mean, he's.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were talking about FanDuel.
Yeah. I don't have 2 pitchers. So
I'm looking at my pitchers. I'm like, how do you have 12?
What did you have?
Depending on which exposure caps I use, because I'm still kind of playing around with it, either 34 or 45%.
Okay. So yeah, I'd have 25, 24, 25. Get to more.
But
there's not that much swing and miss in the Marlins lineup. Granderson projects for a 25% K rate. Brinson and Alfaro are kind of rough, but that middle section isn't too crazy. They're all just sort of league averagey.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say neither of us want much of the Marlins from Bat's perspective.
Correct. I have 0 Miami stacks. I have 15 teams in at least one 5-player stack on DraftKings right now. Miami is not one of them.
Yeah, nor should they be. I assume I don't have them. Yeah, zilch, nada, nothing. Do you have any interest in Trevor Richards as an SB2?
He's in 16% of my lineups right now, which is the same percentage as Matt Boyd. So I kind of, in my initial crunch on DraftKings, got tiers of pitchers, and at the top it's Marquez, Cole, and then Joey Lucchesi, and then a drop off to the mid-range guys where I have Trevor Richards, Boyd, Shoemaker. So yeah, I mean, it's Colorado, obviously a huge park downgrade for them. They are pretty much every year trash on the road, as you would expect, because it's just a huge downgrade. A lot of their hitters benefit significantly from hitting in Coors Field. Richard, was up and down last season, but he does have one, really good pitch, which is something that at least interests me in tournaments. He has a put away pitch with one of the best changeups in baseball. Not a lot of right-handed hitters in this lineup, which I think is beneficial for Richards as well, even though he is right-handed, with his best pitch being a pitch that plays much better against lefties. I think that Arenado, Story, and to a lesser extent Desmond are kind of scary, but he should be able to do okay against the rest of this lineup. So yeah, I don't have a problem with him.
Yeah, he grades out all right for me. As I would assume I'd be in your boat on DK with having him pop up a little bit. Are you getting to any Rocky stacks on the opposite side of him, though?
Let me see. I was looking at his numbers last year. So he struck out 23.6% of lefties, 24% of righties, gave up 1.67 home runs per 9 to righties compared to 0.44 home runs per 9 to lefties. And as far as stacks go, They are my like ninth highest owned stack.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get them at all. And that's probably just due to that implied total.
Yeah, I'm getting some Arenado one-offs and Story one-offs, which I'm happy with.
Yeah, I'll have Arenado as a one-off. I'll have Story as a one-off. I'll probably have some Charlie Blackmon as well. Probably not as much Daniel Murphy, but he's a bit more of a step down. So that's really the only way that I'm getting to these guys.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy right now with my exposures to Colorado because I would ideally want most of my Colorado exposure to be in Arenado and Story, and that's where it is.
I got them in 4% in 3-man stacks. So in situations where I have Marquez on FanDuel and I'm stacking the Rockies, that's probably how I end up getting to them.
Yeah, I'm checking my 3-man stacks now to see.
I assume when I click on this, it'll be a lot of all four Marquez lineups that I have here have 3-man Rocky stacks.
All right,
didn't expect Ryan McMahon to be in 2 of them, but that's baseball.
Yeah, I barely have any 3-man Rocky stacks, so it must. My guess, because I crunch I do 5-man stacks and then I do 5+3s and 4+4s on DraftKings. So I'm guessing that, or hoping that what it primarily is that I, in my 5-mans that don't have a second stack, I just have like Arenado and Story one-offs.
I guess this is probably going to change. It is more of a holistic conversation, but being able to just crunch out like 155 man, 155 threes, 154 fours, merge them all together, and like just have one big pool of them and sifting through them now the way that we do. It's going to be a much different process than I would imagine what you were doing for baseball and what I was doing for baseball last year, which was taking whatever Fantasy Cruncher gave you and loading that in.
Yep.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how much that. Well, one, I'm interested to see like how the sorting process ends up working for it, to see if you get to more of one or the other. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, but I think that it's the, in my mind, like the best way to do it, because and we'd even talked in chat recently, not you and I, but like me and subs. I used to it was almost just like a feel or like a guessing game thing where it would be like, okay, well, I like a lot of one-offs on this slate, so I'll run 5-man stacks without a second stack. Or, I don't like a lot of one-offs, so I'll run, nothing but 5 threes. Whereas now I can just run all of them and then put them together and play my best ones.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be a different baseball season this year, and I'm excited about it. Hit the like button while you're here, everybody. It really helps us out as we try to grow this MLB content, our first true full MLB season since the merger, so it should be cool. Ready to move on?
Yep.
I wish I was getting more of this game, but that low implied total scares the hell out of me. It'd be a much different game if you flip-flop that location.
Yes, it would.
Alrighty. Rays and Astros. 3.2 run implied total for the Rays, 3.8 for the Stros. It's a 57% chance to win for Houston. Charlie Morton going for the Rays. Garrett Cole going for the Astros. This should be terribly shocking. I really like Garrett Cole here.
Yeah, he's right behind Herman Marquez for me in pitcher exposure. Another really favorable park in Tampa Bay. Tons of strikeouts in this Tampa Bay lineup.
Yeah.
We saw Verlander get off to the rough start yesterday. Like, there is some power in the Tampa Bay lineup for sure, but just so many strikeouts. Such a good pitcher in Garrett Cole, and we're not at the point in the season yet, like we said, where there are teams with $4,000 or $5,000 hitters that we need to fit in, hitting in 100-degree weather against a bad pitcher. So it's easier to just spread exposure out amongst some kind of suspect offenses and get a lot of Garrett Cole.
Yep. How much do you expect Cole to be? You said second, I think, to Marquez?
Yeah, just behind Marquez.
Okay. Yeah, I have him second, 1% behind Robbie Ray. But especially on FanDuel, it doesn't pay for you to get cute, at least not in my opinion. So Garrett Cole is going to be in a large majority of my lineups, and I'm totally happy with it. Like, Tommy Pham projects with a 26% strikeout rate. Choi does. Willie Adames is at 25. Kiermaier's at 24. Mike Zunino's at 34. Whew.
Yeah, like the only guys in this lineup that don't strike out, I think, are Yandy Diaz and Joey Wendell.
Austin Meadows, 18% in Steamer.
Okay, yeah.
He's actually the
I
lowest.
don't remember where Brandon Lau was either.
23. Man, I hate that dude.
Why?
Because his last name isn't Low when I try to read it, and like that's one that's really difficult to reprogram your brain for because it's not Lau ever.
Yeah, no, I like it because I don't remember who the show was with last year, but I said Lau like 3 different times because they just happened to play the Orioles like when he came up, so I had caught it, and so I said it like 3 different times, and whoever I was with like tried to correct me, and I got to tell them they were wrong.
Yeah, that one's that's a really tough read for me.
But University of Maryland, so I like him.
Oh, there you go. The turtle. Okay, so I think that there's probably not a lot that we need to say about Garrett Cole. Everybody knows that he's fantastic. Do you get to any bats in this game? Are the Astros appealing? Does Carlos Correa play?
I have Correa in at the moment. I got like 8%. Yeah. As far as full stacks go, Houston's tied for my 3rd highest stack with Toronto and Boston and Oakland and.
Okay, so this makes for an interesting question. I don't really know the Astros DK pricing right now. I only have I'm only paying attention to FanDuel. Are they advantageously priced in this spot? I'm not getting them at all on Houston. They are going to be way more of a one-off or 2-man type stuff that shows up.
For their talent level, they're cheap. For their matchup, they're fine. Like I wouldn't expect to be playing Astros in cash or anything like that. But you have like George Springer at 4,200. You have Altuve at 4,400. Bregman's 4,600. I mean, obviously a bad park, but just based on the upside that these guys give you, those are pretty appealing prices.
Okay.
Bregman actually right now is my highest owned shortstop / 3rd baseman.
Yeah, I'm just I am essentially not getting Houston, which doesn't make me comfortable.
So in the context that I don't have any hitter over 20% right now, I have Springer at 10%. I have Bregman at 14. I have Altuve at 11. So yeah, I'm getting to the Astros.
Let me see. Yeah, I got one Carlos Correa lineup. Might be something I need to look into a little bit more for the rest of the day. They're not grading out all that well. I'm a Charlie Morton guy, I guess. Feels like a pretty rough matchup. Lots of righty on righty. So I guess when I think about it, I'm not super upset. It's sub 4 implied total. It's not really the best spot for Houston. I'm surprised that I don't get more of them as one-offs, considering they're just general talent level.
I'm totally surprised how much I have. What'd you say?
All right, hold on. I gotta get rid of this Eric Blad guy. Keeps saying that I am with the Chinese, so I don't. He seems to be on some Trump tip right now.
That mean?
I don't know, but later on, Eric Blad, appeared to be a very fun person to have around. Okay, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, no, I was saying I don't feel good about having a lot of Astros, and I do think Charlie Morton's really good, and it's a terrible park and all that. It's just that I guess I'm getting there because their prices are down for the matchup on DraftKings, and they're really good.
Okay. Yeah, I wish that I was getting more, but are you getting to any Charlie Morton?
I don't think so.
Whoever expected Charlie Morton to end up being good?
Yeah. No, I'm barely getting to any Morton despite the revenge game.
Okay. I guess it could be real for pitchers.
No.
I don't mean real, as in real. But if it's going to be real for anybody, at least it's the guy with the ball in his hands for potentially 100 pitches.
Sure.
You can be angry, I guess. But no, I would never think about revenge in baseball whatsoever. Any Rays bats?
Probably not.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Do I have any Tampa stacks? I have 1%. 5-man Tampa stacks.
There you go. Do you believe in like the philosophy of making sure you have every team at least once if you're playing in 150?
No, I mean I don't force it in, but the way my stuff is set up now, like I said, I have 15 out of 18 teams.
Yeah, there you go. I have 10 of 18 right now on FanDuel. And no Tampa Bay, which does not shock me at all.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through quickly to see if I have any like one-offs that are popping up, but I don't, and I wouldn't expect to.
Okay. Yeah, these guys. I mean, it's Meadows, Pham, Choi, and Lau are all basically the same, and then there's like this huge drop off to the next 5 guys in the Rays lineup.
I have Meadows and Lau as my highest owned Tampa guys. I think at like 3% right now.
Yeah.
And then I have like 2% Pham. I have a couple Zunino lineups, a couple Choi. These are probably my Tampa stacks. So yeah.
Alrighty, move on. Brew Crew hosting the Cardinals. 4.3 run implied total for the Brewers. 4.2 for the Cards. Essentially a 50-50 matchup. Freddie Peralta going for Milwaukee. Jack Flaherty going for St. Louis. Freddie Peralta grading out a little bit better for me. On FanDuel, it's going to be a tough sell to get to either one of these guys. I've got 12% Peralta, and I don't have any Jack Flaherty. Are you getting Peralta on FanDuel? Or on DraftKings, rather?
Yeah, I have him and Flaherty both in that like 15% range.
Okay.
Just because the matchup isn't appealing for either one, but there's obviously talent there for both guys. So it's actually it's a game where I definitely have both sides of it.
Yeah, I would have liked to get a little bit more of Jack Flaherty, but man, that Brewers lineup scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, the Brewers lineup's really good, and then looking at DraftKings pricing, you have $9,000 Flaherty or you have $9,200 Marquez. So
yeah, makes it pretty easy. Yeah, like I mean, going through Yelich and Shaw and Moose Tacos and Grandal, all 4 of these guys with north of 200 ISOs in a lefty-righty matchup, that is terrifying. And that says nothing about still having to work your way through Low Kane or Ryan Braun, Aguiar. These guys mash. Ooh.
Yep. And then they added Yasmani Grandal over whoever the hell they had at catcher last year.
Like I wanted to say Eric Kratz. Yeah.
Eric Kratz, yeah.
Yeah.
Manny Pena.
Yeah. Yeah, Grandal, a little bit of an upgrade. I mean, their 1 through 7 hitters all project at 106 or higher in weighted runs created plus. That's at least league average. Orlando Arcia is the only guy at 82, so you're probably better off with Peralta if you can roster him as a hitter. How do you feel about the hitting in this one?
So when I ran my initial crunch, I saw how much I was getting of both of these teams, and it was just like, what the hell? Like, why am I getting so much against Flaherty and so much against Peralta? But they do have 2 of the highest implied run totals on the slate. I kind of just still have to like recalibrate my brain to at this point in the season, there's not a lot of good offenses. And because I mean, pitchers are generally better anyway coming out of spring training than hitters are.
Yeah.
And then, weather issues and the second game of the season, you have aces or, really good pitchers going pretty much across the slate. So right now behind on DraftKings, I have Milwaukee and St. Louis tied as my second highest owned stacks behind Detroit. Just because it's a reasonably good hitter's park. It's 2 really talented lineups. And, again, in tournaments, I'm going to lean towards just taking on talent over, trying to predict, trying to predict who gets hits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Really favorable pricing, especially on the Cardinals on DraftKings. Like the middle of this order with 3,400, there's no hitter. Carpenter and Goldschmidt are both, reasonably expensive. But after that, nobody in this Cardinals lineup is over $4,000 on DraftKings. But they all have home run upside except for like Fowler, maybe.
What's Ozuna's price?
38.
Okay. Yeah, he grades out pretty well for me on DK. How long is it going to take you to remember that Paul Goldschmidt is a Cardinal?
Yeah, it's weird.
That one's tricky to me.
I was like looking through when I was playing around in Rewind last night. I was going through stacks and like I was going through stacks in Excel, so I didn't have the pictures like you do on Cruncher.
Yeah.
And I'm like Cardinals, Diamondbacks, like Dodgers. Like what the hell lineup is this? And then
it's trickiness. Yeah, I'm on the same page with you on FanDuel. I have the Cardinals tied for the top. I basically have the Angels, the Blue Jays, and the Cardinals all at the top of my stack list. You can't really differentiate between them. Then Milwaukee is fifth. So I'm going to be stacking up a lot of this game. And you mentioned it when you first started talking there that you wouldn't have expected to be on it with two really good pitchers, but that's sort of the case for how the beginning of the MLB season is, especially day 2, where you're still getting like a ton of good pitching one way or the other. So
Yeah,
just
exactly.
deal with it.
Yeah, and with the way the scheduling's set up now too, you have a game in Miami, you have a game in Tampa, you have a game in Seattle, you have a game in Oakland, you have a game in Petco, you have a game in LA.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good pitching. There's a lot of not great places to hit.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm happy having a lot of both of these teams and just saying like, well, I hope one of them goes.
Right.
Do you, here's just like an open question. Do you have any active interest in stacking games?
No.
Okay. And it's a question that we get a lot. I don't either. I don't rally for it or against it. If it happens, it happens.
It happens, yeah.
But, we get that question like, oh, is stacking a thing in baseball? Does that matter? Stacking a game. I would guess that there's probably like a slightly mild correlation.
Yeah, I would think so, just because, yeah.
But not nothing you should like plan for.
Right, exactly. But I would think that there is slightly positive correlation just because, for one, if the ball's carrying, it's carrying for both teams. If the home plate umpire is not calling strikes, that's the case for both teams. If the Cardinals jump out to an 8-0 lead or, are winning 8-0 in like the 7th inning, they're not bringing in their best relievers. So you get some, garbage runs for the Brewers, stuff like that. Like I would be surprised if there isn't positive correlation to game stacks. It's just not enough that I want in most cases that I want enough that I want to like force it in the lineups.
Okay. Favorite bat in this game?
That would be
Carpenter, I'm guessing.
Yadi Molina. Yadi Molina is my highest owned.
Okay.
But that's because of position. Yeah. So other than the catchers, Christian Yelich.
Okay. God, he's so damn good.
He really is.
141 projected weighted runs created plus from Steamer. That's the highest in this game.
Other than the catchers, Yelich, Ozuna, Carpenter, all together, Goldschmidt, DeYoung kind of right behind them.
Okay. Yeah, there's just going to be a lot of exposure to this game, and I'm here for it. Have you looked at weather at all?
No. I saw a tweet that everything's supposed to be good today.
Let me pull it up quickly
as far as like rain goes.
Just to make sure. I try not to look at anything in the morning just because.
Roof's closed in Milwaukee, which this time of year I assume makes it better for hitters.
Yeah, there are 4 games in a dome today, so there's only 5 games in a dome, so there's only 3 games that he could even have weather. That makes me happy. That's the worst part of baseball.
Yeah, and one is in San Diego, one's in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Classically rainy. I mean, when's the last time San Diego had a game rain out?
I think it happened last year.
I think it did too, but like before that, it was like a crazy amount of time.
Yeah, it was a really long time.
Yeah. Alrighty. Moving on. Oakland A's hosting the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, or whatever they are actually called at this point in time. I can't remember anymore. Is it Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim?
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Yeah. I can never remember when that flips around. Ooh, I don't have the A's 5-hole hitter in here now. 4.3 run implied total for the A's, 4.2 for the Angels. The 51% chance to win for Oakland. Marco Estrada going for Oakland. Matt Harvey going for the Angels. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we don't really love either of the pitching here, but I feel like you're going to be like, no, I'm in for Matt Harvey.
No, I don't. I'm not really getting there. It's too early in the season for me to be digging like really deep into finding like trash pitching plays. I have like 5% Harvey, less than that Estrada.
Okay, just making sure.
That doesn't really start happening for me until, for one, we have a few starts and I can start deciding that someone has made significant changes in what they're doing. But also when like summer rolls around, then you start wanting to get $6,000 Mike Trout with $6,000 Mookie Betts and $5,800 JD Martinez. I start having to come up with reasons to play Matt Harvey.
Those are the best days when it's just like, okay, so-and-so's 4K, Do you think that he can make it to the 5th inning without dying on the mound? In like the first week of August, it's 145 degrees in Arizona, and it's like it's the only pay down option.
Right. Exactly.
The best part of baseball. You don't get that you don't really get that experience in the NBA unless you have like a bunch of injuries, and then it's, well, how much Kadeem Allen are you comfortable with?
Right.
But at least you know, like that. Oh god, baseball's so much fun. I love it. It's definitely my favorite DFS sport.
It is my favorite to research for sure. NBA is my favorite. Well, golf's my favorite to sweat, but I don't play it that much. NBA, I prefer NBA sweats to MLB, just because
That I agree with.
like you have an idea of what's going on. Like I keep having to remind myself. Like I would pull up my baseball yesterday, and it's just like, God, I don't have any teams within like 30 points of first. This is annoying, and it's like, oh yeah, that's like literally 2 swings of the bat.
Yeah. The swings in baseball are nuts.
Yeah, like being at the top of a baseball tournament is like the most. I don't even know the word for it.
It's like cheering for the under in sports. Like all you're doing is cheering for outs.
Right. Yeah, it's like you sit there and like basketball, you can kind of scroll back and be like, okay, I've gone back, 200 teams and nobody really has anything that is likely to catch me. Baseball, you have to go back, to the middle of the pack, because if one team scores 8 runs in an inning, at any point you're probably screwed.
If Kendry Morales hits a 3-run dong and that guy has those other 2 guys on, like, you're coming out of nowhere. It's like a 50-point swing. That's fun to me, because all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're like, woo, up 1,000 right now here on this lineup in second. And you flick it and refresh, and it's like, in 641st, I'm down 75%. What happened?
Yeah.
Josh Fairley, fuck.
It's definitely fun. It's brings out like anxiety, I guess. But actually, NBA, I guess, does more for me, because every time I refresh it, something happened.
Like baseball, you can just run in place for the longest time in baseball and never start. Like it could just never get good.
That's the frustrating one. It's like, oh, my game's starting, and then it's like, this team I'm really heavy on started an hour and a half ago. Why do I still have no points?
Oh god. All right, let's talk bats, since, well, Marco Estrada and Matt Harvey are both trash. Both project at 6.7 Ks per 9 or lower. That's not fantastic. Obviously, I've made it known that I have quite a bit of Mike Trout. I'm going to have quite a bit of Mike Trout in some way. I do have the Angels as one of my top stacks. Trout is helping that quite a bit. But Justin Bour grades out really well for me. Cole Calhoun grading out really well for me. Pujols grading out too well for me. Not that it's good, but I'm going to have him, and I hate having him. How do you feel about the Angels?
Not getting as much on DraftKings. Trout's my highest owned hitter right now. Again, just with the way that I had my caps set on the crunch I did last night, that was still only like 20% of him. But so he's coming in, obviously, is actually second highest owned hitter behind Betts. But as far as the full stack goes, not getting a ton of Angels. Have them down like behind Colorado. So not a ton. I think I'm just kind of looking through to see. I got a reasonable amount of Bour, but not a ton. But really, it's a tough team to stack on draft. It's a tougher team to stack on DraftKings for a couple of reasons. For one, you have the number 3 and the number 5 hitters both play the same position, so you can get there on FanDuel, but you can't on DraftKings. And then also not a lot of like home run power here outside of Trout and Bour. It's more of a team that when they score runs, I expect it to be singles and doubles and stuff that is appealing for FanDuel and much less appealing for DraftKings.
There we go.
It looks like I'm getting more to like individual hitters. I wonder if I have a lot of like 3-mans here. That's probably the case. Yeah, so I have more 4-man Angel stacks than 3-man Angel stacks. They're tied with Boston for my highest owned 3-player stack. So that makes sense. I would think
they're my number 1, 4, and 3.
Yeah,
right now. Justin Bour is a guy that I'm going to end up, I think, over rostering for the entire season.
I don't think over rostering is the right word, because it's someone that I think should have a really good season.
That's true. Well, maybe it's the word. Depends what that percentage ends up being, I guess. If I tell you it's 40 every day until August, then you might tell me that I'm right. Now,
Yeah, so it looks like I'm actually getting a pretty good amount of variation in my Angels 3-man stacks, which I'm happy to see. It's basically Mike Trout and then 2 other guys.
I got way too much Tommy La Stella yesterday, which made me real sick.
Dude, so we had so much content yesterday that I still don't even know who's on what teams really, because I didn't dig into like the really detailed stuff. I kind of was just going through, like, okay, this is like clearly the top stuff here. And so yeah, I don't even know what team Tommy La Stella was on now.
Did you watch any baseball yesterday?
I think I saw a total of like 2 innings.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you know anything that happened for the most part?
I heard that Lorenzo Cain made a ridiculous catch to end the Brewers game.
Yeah, I literally have no idea how baseball played out. I don't know who won. I don't know who lost.
Yeah.
I have no idea if the Braves won.
I know the Orioles lost.
Yeah,
I knew that before the game started, but it was confirmed.
The Live Before Lock show ended last night, and I was like, cool. I hope no one talks to me for the next 4 hours because today sucked.
Yeah, I got NBA lineups done at 7. I think I was in bed by 8.
So. I wish I was in bed by 8. It was like 8:45, I guess.
Yeah,
ran a little long.
But then, of course, like I knew it was gonna happen too. It was like I'm so tired, I can go right to sleep, and then just like snap awake at 10:30. Like, all right, let's go.
I needed to shut the old eyes. A's bats. The only thing that's giving me pause as to how much Angels that I got is the fact that this game is in Oakland. And I'm never confident having this. Does anything stand out to you outside of Chris Davis?
Well, as far as 5-man stacks go, so I'm getting like no 3-man Oakland stacks. I'm not getting that much as far as 4-man stacks, but then they're one of my higher owned. They're tied for my 4th highest owned 4-man stack. 5-man stack. For whatever that's worth. As far as individual exposures, Davis, Piscotty, both around like 8%. Chapman's at like 8%. So I mean, they're all like middling. Profar is like 7. Yeah, they're all just kind of like middling overall exposures. But I am getting some 5-man stacks just because there is upside here against Harvey.
Yeah, they're like I got 11% 4-mans on FanDuel, so they are 7th for me. Similar amount in 3-mans, and that's going to be focused predominantly on Chris Davis and Matt Chapman. I would say that Piscotty would probably be 3rd, Morales 4th, but I would guess that I'm going to have Davis and Chapman in the large majority of every stack that I have from Oakland. There's just too much power there.
Yep.
Especially against Harvey. I sneakily like this game, and I don't. But, I mean, you mentioned it before. There are so many quality pitching parks on the slate that you can't just draw a line through everything.
Right.
Ex-Cossack. So is this how much basketball these guys watch also? I watch a
ton of baseball too, just not when I have to write 2 articles, do a basketball show, and slept for 2 hours in the last day and a half.
Really, the only time that I watch baseball is like day baseball.
Yeah.
Just putting it on the TV on the side and like continuing to do whatever work I have. If I tune into a game after 7:00, I'll bet my life that my wife is out of town.
Yeah, no, I mean, baseball's my favorite sport, and I also just end up watching like whatever team I stacked. So
baseball is a sport where I'm very comfortable not seeing anything happen.
I mean, there's nothing that I take away. I don't really take anything away from watching basketball either, though. So
outside of just like rotation, like the rotation aspect of NBA is the key. Seeing,
but I don't need to.
No, not at all. Between Brooks Baseball, Fangraphs, Baseball Reference, like anything you could want to know about anything is available in data.
Yep.
And I will make it worse if I try to put my own spin on it.
Right.
I
mean, that's how I approach basketball too. Like I watch because I enjoy it. I don't.
Yeah.
There's maybe once or twice a season where I'm like, I saw this thing that might be useful for DFS from watching basketball, and it's even less from baseball.
It's been a while since I've been able to just like sit down and watch a baseball game. I guess it's probably going to get better, though. I mean, now that we have cell phones in our hands 24/7, the downtime is probably easier.
Yeah.
But then you end up taking a fly ball to the face if you're in the
Right.
stands. But okay, let's move on. 3 more games. Dodgers and Mariners. These shows are going to go really quick. Come like late April, once we're like ready and built up and used to
But then they'll
talking
slow
about it.
down. But then they'll slow down in June once we start deciding like, oh, this pitcher's done this different, and let's look at that for 30 minutes.
That might be a different show.
Yeah.
That might be a 30-minute capsule at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon where we break down 2 pitchers or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Dodgers and D-backs, 3.9 run implied total for the Dodgers, 3.1 for the Diamondbacks. It's a 60% chance to win for LA. Ross Stripling on the hill for the Dodgers. Robbie Ray going for the D-backs. I really enjoyed rostering Ross Stripling a lot last year, but this is the Robbie Ray show, in my opinion. I love being able to get Ray outside of Arizona. This is a perfect park for me. Lineup makes me a little nervous, but Robbie Ray is one of my 2 most exposed pitchers, and that's the direction that I'm going to be going on FanDuel. How do you feel about him on DK?
I don't have much of this game. Don't have much of either pitcher. They're both prohibitively priced on DraftKings. Stripling is $3,000 more than Marquez. He's $5,000 more than Flaherty. Ray is $900 more than Marquez and $1,100 more than Flaherty. You're not getting. There's no question that Ray has monster upside, but you're not getting more upside from him than you are from those other guys. And I'd rather just take the savings. So getting to, in my initial crunch, like 5% Robbie Ray, like 7% Stripling, but obviously 2 very good pitchers as well. So the Dodgers came in as one of my lowest 5-man stacks. Arizona, I got even less. Not really getting as a 3-man stack. I actually got a decent amount of Dodgers, but
let me bounce back over here. So I got 5% Arizona, 3% Dodgers. So I'm getting them just barely. It's kind of just all about Robbie Ray for me. Do you think you would get more of him on FanDuel on a 1-pitcher site?
I assume that his price is better there.
Let me hop to it and give you some context. Cole is 11.3. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of Robbie Ray. Cole is 11.3. Marquez is 98. Flaherty 93. Morton 85. Robbie Ray 84.
Yeah. I would have tons of Robbie Ray there.
It's really hard to ignore Robbie Ray when he's the 5th most expensive pitcher.
Right. He's the 2nd most on DraftKings.
Yeah, that'll do it. That will do it for show.
By a wide margin, too.
Hopping back over to Thrive Fantasy, bit.ly/Osimo. Osimo Strat is the promo code for a free $5 without any deposit. I was hoping to find like a pitcher here, but it's all hitter props today.
That's interesting.
Let's see. Yeah, this is going to be really fun. I'm going to build this out later today. Cody Bellinger, over under 1.5 bases. 115 for the over. I feel like I really like the over there, just like thinking about it in my head.
Yeah, with the extra points, yeah.
I mean, that's any extra base hit.
Yeah, a walk and a bloop single.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an awful matchup, but
yeah, I mean, it honestly, it probably couldn't get worse.
Right.
Like, all things considered, Cody Bellinger projected to hit in the 7-hole against a lefty with just like real dirty stuff. Not going to go well for Cody all that often. But I think that I would end up taking the over, but we'll know soon enough. I'll copy my NBA process over to MLB, and we'll be churning out Thrive Pops like crazy. Who knows? Maybe I'll get a second t-shirt quickly. I need one. Or I'll let Adam have a victory for once.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Hey, look, and I'm undefeated. Let's talk about any specific bats that you would want to pull out as potential one-offs in this game.
I don't think I have any.
Justin Turner, I guess, fine for me. stupid Max Muncy went yard yesterday on opening day to really. Nobody tweeted it at me, but anytime Muncy went yard last year, because I would inevitably say that I thought he sucked, I would get like a sea of tweets. Nobody said a word yesterday. But
you didn't get on Max Muncy last year?
I'm not a Max Muncy guy.
It looks like I'm getting to some Dodgers. AJ Pollock at like 13% on DraftKings at 4K, around 10% on Turner and Seager. Chris Taylor in the same ballpark. Getting like virtually no Diamondbacks.
Yeah, nobody is standing out on either side, and that's why I'm getting basically like 4% as a stack.
Right.
I don't mind having a couple guys, but there's no one that I want to just unload on.
Yeah, it looks like the only guys from this game that I'm getting outside of stacks are Pollock and Turner because they're really good, and Seager because he's a shortstop. And he's really good.
2 to go. I think we're done here. Mariners hosting the Red Sox. 3.7 run implied total for the Mariners, 4.3 for the Red Sox. It's a 58% chance to win for Boston. Yusei Kikuchi going for the Mariners. Nathan Eovaldi going for the Red Sox. I think I just did a hell of a job on that name. It's the first time I've ever said it out loud. I'm not going to lie. I have no concept of Kikuchi. Have you done any digging on him?
He's from Japan.
Way to go, man.
Yeah. Steamer 4.16 xFIP projection, 8.6 strikeouts per 9, 3.4 walks per 9. 22 and a half. Steamer has him projected for a 22.2% strikeout percentage, 8.5 walk percentage. He's basically an average pitcher, it seems like, from Steamer.
Yep. Kudos to you for going to the Steamer stuff. You can see the strikeout, walk rate, and FIP on the screen. How do you feel about Eovaldi? Because he's not really standing out to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a good pitcher. I don't think I'm getting a lot on this particular slate. Yeah, I'm not.
No, it's. I mean, he's $200 less expensive than Stripling and $400 less expensive than Robbie Ray. And while I like Eovaldi as a guy that's going to pitch for me, oh yeah. By the way, good for Ted pointing this out. Kikuchi's probably not going long in these games.
Right. So they said that they're going to limit him to 1 inning
early. Yeah.
In some starts, but
right.
I assume it's not this one.
No. Yeah, I would assume. I don't know. Ultimately, it shouldn't matter. The chances of you wanting to take a rookie pitcher against the reigning World Series champs on the day after opening day, unless he's priced at 0.
I have him at 9% on DraftKings.
Is he flat 4?
He's 7,100.
Really?
Which is cheap.
I wouldn't have expected it to be that expensive. It's cheap, but it's not like cheap.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was surprised.
That's obviously, I guessed, flat minimum. So clearly I was a little low. Yeah, I won't be getting to either pitcher in this game. Red Sox bats. I scroll down to my stacks here. This will all be in the spreadsheet soon enough. MLB is unique in that every different source, whether it's Fantasy Cruncher, Fangraphs, Baseball Reference, MLB.com, FanDuel, DraftKings, Yahoo, no one uses the same damn name. So building out the structure to make sure that you don't have any gaps takes more time than I would like. Boston's in the middle tier for me, stack-wise. They are 6th. Going to be a lot of Mookie Betts, a lot of JD Martinez. All I'm doing is just naming really good players on Boston. That shouldn't be terribly shocking. But I like that 1 through 5 for Boston here.
Yeah, they're my 4th highest owned 5-man stack, my highest owned 4-man stack, my highest owned 3-man stack. My highest owned hitter on the slate right now is Mookie Betts, followed by Mike Trout, followed by JD Martinez. So yeah, even though I'm getting some of the Mariners pitcher in, some crunches because he's cheap, and I'm rotating mid-range pitchers.
The Mariners pitcher.
I was hoping that would just kind of get through. Yeah, obviously Boston is a really good stacker.
Yeah. Hard not to be. I mean, does this get much better for Betts and Martinez? I mean, I guess, they've never seen Kikuchi, so
Yeah.
it's
I
always...
mean, it'll be better if they were in Fenway and facing a below average pitcher.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, love these dudes. God. Eduardo Nunez was another one of those guys last year where I probably had 50% more than the public on a day-to-day basis.
So you won't play Max Muncy, but big Eduardo Nunez guy.
Well, position, price, how that works.
Yeah.
Look, here's my deal for Muncy. He didn't project all that well in Steamer projections last year because he's 28 or something stupid. He was good for 18 months in his entire career and was nothing from the time he was 18 until the time he was 25. So I wasn't a total believer in him mashing in AAA for a month and a half or whatever it was that got him called up. I don't know. Not a Max Muncy guy.
Yeah.
Don't at me.
I'm somewhere between you and DFS Twitter on Muncy.
Okay. And then it just became a gimmick. So I didn't want to walk it back.
Right, yeah. No. You can't ever admit that you're wrong. It's just it becomes a sample size thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll never admit it. I'll just wait until he gets to 35 years old and a part-time player, and I'll just be yeah, I told you, he's not good.
Yeah, or Luka, you'll just wait until there's a month left in the season and be we should play this guy.
That is not how that worked. Can't do it with you. Mariners, any bats?
Not really. Shit, that's the wrong.
I don't. And there goes Adam. Great job, dude. Great job. He's not going to be able to hear this. Here he comes. What you guys can see on screen how long it takes Adam to get into this chat room or into this call. Still connecting. Still connecting. I don't even know if he can hear me right now. Still connecting. Waiting on you. Great radio. Still connecting. Dude, it's gonna take so long to connect. The chat is gonna catch up to this. Brandon Furlow didn't even work. That's fun. I get the DM yet? Brandon Furlow, Malik Smith is your guy. Look, if you're gonna take anybody, grabbing a leadoff hitter is always going to be beneficial. Is the biggest opportunity of additional plate appearances. So falls off every step down the order is a tenth of a plate appearance less. There he is. Remember my first time I used the internet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I'm not actually losing the internet. I just keep losing connection to the room. But
the hell were we talking about?
I was saying I was scrolling through my hitters, and basically I finally got to the bottom, and it seems like outside of Mariner stacks, I really have nothing. And I don't have a lot of Mariner stacks, but I just don't even have anyone coming in as a one-off for me.
Don't be afraid to hit that like button. Just got the reminder. Yeah, it's going to be really hard to one-off the Mariners in this spot.
Yeah.
Like
3,500 Jay Bruce, sure, I guess, but
man, I wanted him to be a legend.
Yeah.
I was a big Jay Bruce proponent back in the day when I would read Baseball America prospect books cover to cover.
Yep.
Those days are long gone. Now I don't even read books.
Right.
I haven't held a book in forever. They put that out on Kindle and it looks really good though. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Actually, they should just make it into an app. That way I can still read it on the crapper and don't have to have a Kindle or a regular book.
Yeah, there you go.
The good old days. Good old days. Yeah, I'd love to talk more about the Mariners or you say Kikuchi, but just not my cup of tea today. Does he live out in the country or is he being cheap and not upgrading what he needs to? Modem, router, computer?
No, I'm in a basement, so the internet connection down here sucks.
Just listing off all the time. Hotel internet.
Yeah.
The hotel internet was fantastic for you when you were jet setting to San Francisco.
Yeah, I'll be doing more of that this month. So,
wait, where are you off to now?
I'm going to Miami in 2 weeks, and I'm going to Nashville the week after that.
There you go.
I don't know how much I'll actually be working during those trips, though. So,
Great.
I'll talk about that.
Great. Get that hot chicken. Final game. Padres hosting the Giants. 4.2 run implied total for the Padres. 3.3 for the Giants. 60% chance to win for San Diego. My man, Joey Lucchesi going for San Diego. Derek
Definitely
Holland.
not how you pronounce that name.
How do you pronounce it?
Lucchesi.
It's Lucchesi. I'm not Italian. Derek Holland going for San Francisco. How do you like Joey Lucchesi today?
He's my third highest owned pitcher on DraftKings behind Cole and or behind Marquez and Cole.
Yeah, that makes. What's his price?
7,900.
That'll work.
Yeah, bad Giants team. Pretty competent pitcher. You know, was actually impressive last year as a rookie. So yeah, I'm getting to watch him.
What do you know about Connor Joe?
He has a batting stance like Tony Bautista.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why am I not? Who's hitting 7th? Michael Reed. Why is he not pulling through to my sheet? Talk to me about the hitting in this game. I assume you're not on Derek Holland, at least.
I have like 7% Derek Holland, but I have much more Padres bats. That's where, outside of Lucchesi, most of my exposure to this game comes in the form of Padres. They are tied for my 4th highest owned 5-man stack on DraftKings. They're my 5th highest owned 4-man. They're not as highly owned 3-mans, but you actually have some, pretty good hitters in this lineup now. You have Will Myers hitting or projected at second. You have Machado there. You have Kinsler as the second base option leading off. Franmil Reyes obviously has a ton of power. So it's a different Padres team than we're used to. And Derek Holland did show some improvement last year. He also greatly benefited from pitching in San Francisco. Petco isn't a bad pitcher's park, but it's not great either, and it's certainly not San Francisco. So I do like the power guys on the Padres.
Let me hop back to it. I have 7% Padres right now. It's like my 8th or 9th stack. No San Francisco, and that I'm very, very happy about. But I'd like to have some Padres. I don't get the sense that I'll get to my man Joey all that much on FanDuel today. But on DK, he would be in play for me for sure. I loved rostering him last year. Yep. I don't know why.
I kind of forgot how good he was last year. Like, I just pulled up his page on FanGraphs, and I didn't realize he struck out over 10 per 9 last season.
Yeah, he was really good for what you needed him to be, because there was a stretch in the late part of the season where his price started to rise. And then for the most part, he was really cheap through July. At least that's the way that I'm remembering it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, he ended up making 26 starts last year. He struck out 26.5%. He walked 7.9%. 3.45 xFIP. He was good.
Yeah.
Steamer has him projected for a 3.8 xFIP this season, 24% strikeout rate. I mean, they're not projecting him to be quite as good as last year, but still to be, very good.
Why is that not pulling through?
And he's another guy that just has a plus pitch, which is something that I just really like about pitchers. Obviously, it's nice to know the guy just has something, and in his case, it's his curveball, slider thing, whatever it is. I don't know that he knows what it is, but he has a pitch that is just really, really good.
Oh, give me 1 second. Connor Joe is not cooperating with me right now. Connor Joe, what's your DraftKings or your FanGraphs ID? See, everybody's got a different damn ID number. Hate baseball. There we go. Connor Joe should be pulling through now. There we go. How much Machado do you think you end up with today? This is outside of the fact that this game is in San Diego, this is a really good matchup for Manny Machado.
Yeah, I have him right now as my 3rd highest owned third baseman, just behind Bregman and Carpenter. And that's basically just a function of price. Machado's 4,900, Carpenter's like 45 or 46, and Bregman's 44. So
Okay.
I imagine if Machado were a few $100s cheaper, he'd be my highest owned.
Love Machado. I was really surprised to see him sign with San Diego. I don't think I'm in the minority.
Yeah, I think everyone was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Will Myers is my highest owned Padres hitter, just ahead of Machado, just ahead of Kinsler.
More Kinsler than Reyes?
Yes.
Okay.
Just because of position.
That makes sense. What is Kinsler's eligibility on DK?
Second base.
Okay. There was no telling for me right now. Like, it could have been first outfield.
Yeah.
That would have been like,
Yeah,
of course it is.
Like, my second base exposure is like Harrison, Kinsler, Altuve, Gurriel, Moustakas, all at 10% or higher. In the outfield, obviously, a lot more to go to, so Reyes drops off a bit.
Any Giants bats as a one-off?
Not really. Lucchese's just good. And while Evan Longoria, last year, he was actually like an above-average hitter outside of AT&T. Now, whatever it's called, I don't remember. I was just there and I don't remember.
It was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't remember. But
great job.
Just not a spot where I feel the need to go there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't disagree. Longoria and Posey would be the first two guys that I would look at. And, if Brandon Belt has no ownership, even though it's lefty-lefty, like, I'd entertain it. But nothing looks good for the Giants. Yeah, terrible run total, terrible park. It's all bad.
I thought Posey maybe would like pop because of the position, but at least in my initial crunches, it's basically either like punt catcher or throw in the guy from your stack or whatever. Like, I still like I got more Molina, Grandal, Jansen, Griner, Iannetta, Hedges, Lucroy, Hundley, Chirinos, and Vasquez.
Yeah, it's hard to one-off like a slightly above average catcher play,
especially because he had a .098 ISO last season.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, even 1.141 projection in Steamer is not good.
It is not.
No. There we go. 8-gamer in the books. This will be the structure of the show moving forward, very similar to the NBA show. As we get back into the swing of things and don't have to talk about two sports constantly, the flow will certainly improve.
Yeah, and I'll be more helpful on this. I don't know the right word, but I'll have my crunches done for the show easier because I don't have to go through and do minute projections for every single player.
I said that in the baseball Slack today. I was like, I just updated my baseball sheet fully in 5 minutes, whereas I know I'm about to spend another hour on NBA.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just to put minutes in, not even to like do any analysis.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's why like on the NBA show for me, it was more like guess and check because like I wasn't waking up at 5 o'clock to do minutes projections. But baseball, it's like, okay, I can just grab this, plug it in the cruncher, and I have my initial stuff.
Yep, it's so appealing. And it'll largely hold until like 5 p.m.
Yep.
Can't beat it. Alrighty, guys, here's the deal. Here's what we've got coming up for the rest of the day. Let me pull it up now so that I don't screw it up. Use the promo code MLB Strategy, one big word, and you get 50% off your first month with us. Any monthly package you choose, including packages that include Fantasy Cruncher. So you can come check us out right now. You can get our all access package where we have NBA, MLB, hockey, golf, tennis, whatever, everything right now. And all of the major sports are all playing right now at the same time, save for the NFL. So if you pick an all access package with Fantasy Cruncher, you can get 50% off. Rest of the day. Coming up in about 45 minutes, we'll have the Awesemo Odds betting show with Ben Raza and Jordan Frank, and they'll be talking probably a lot of March Madness. I'll be doing an NBA strategy show sometime after that. I'll be producing the Awesemo Odds show, so probably in like the 12:30, 1 o'clock range. I'm going to just take a quick lap through the NBA. It's a pretty small slate, so we'll just go over a couple crunches, hit on some of the key pieces. But I will make way then to the deeper dive starting at 4:45 today. Lofty and Adam are going to put in about 15 minutes on the NBA slate and then transition directly to an hour of baseball, normal deeper dive scheduling. And then live before lock, 2 separate shows today. Fast Eddie Fear for the NBA from 6 to 7. He will be flying solo. And then myself and Chris Spags tonight, 6 to 7. The return of MLB Live Before Lock. And the return of home run picks. So I need to set up that table at least because there's absolutely no way I'm going to be okay with losing it this year. I might just take Stanton every day.
I wasn't listening.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. You've got Deeper Dive coming up later today. I think that's it, everybody. I think we're done. So thanks for joining us. Again, MLB Strategy is the promo code. Adam, you got anything else?
Nope.
Cool. Best of luck, everybody. We'll see you throughout the rest of the day.